Hello. I don't know if it's still audible in my voice, but I got sick. About a week before this video goes up, I got pretty sick, and because of that, I wasn't able to make the next home stretch essay, and I also just kind of have had a bit of trouble with figuring out what March's video was gonna be. So like 2 weeks after this video goes up, I'll have that essay out. I'm not skipping the essay, but I need to delay it. I need to rain check it because I got sick during the week that I work on the essay the most, which is the last week of the month. Great schedule, I know. But I thought instead of, panicking and just crunching really hard for like a week after the month starts and missing the deadline, why don't I just go simple? Why don't I just reuse content? You heard it here first. I'm going lazy for this video. I had the idea recently of going back in my videos and just kind of seeing what I can find. I guess just criticizing my old videos and like looking back at them retrospectively. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but I have 3 in mind. I think the 3 videos that I'm gonna go through for going through this old content is the Doors video, maybe the Lethal Company video. I have yet to decide on if I'm gonna do that or one of the other old ones. Maybe Being Friendlies. I don't know. But the third one I definitely know is going to be the And Yet It Moves video, because that video is my first essay ever. And I actually recently was just kind of rewatching some of my old videos to see what they were like and if they were watchable. And I did watch most of my old videos. However, I did not watch the And Yet It Moves video because I wanted to save my reactions for it for when I have a recording going. So, first off, we're going to start with the longest one. And that is Doors, a 5-star hotel. There we go. So, Doors, a 5-star hotel. There's immediately going to be a problem that I have with this. It is how I recorded my microphone. However, I had no way of the recording in any other way at a high quality. So you're going to have to bear with me a little bit on this. So volume is not on. Okay. It's going to be loud, just so you're aware. I do like this intro. This intro is very ambient and calm. I like that. Throughout my 7 years of Roblox, I've come across... Okay, it's not as bad as I remember. I mean, obviously it's better now with this mic that I have with an XLR cable and all that, but it's not quite as bad as I remember. Maybe I was just listening to it loud last time I watched it, but basically what I would do is I had this really not good mic. And I know the quality sounds acceptable, but this mic was very broken. That's what made it not good. The way that I had to record it made it borderline unusable, but it was all that I had at the time. So I've learned to live with it, but I understand if others have not. Across a lot of games. So that first line there, apologies for pausing in the middle of it. Throughout my 7 years of Roblox, I've come across a lot of games. I would write that now. Looking at that now, that is I would still write something like that. I think I did for Sonic FNF mods. Let's do that. In the few years that it's been out, Friday night, it's basically that. It's just a little different because I'm talking about Roblox, but some alright, some fantastic, and some have likely put a few. I just want to mention, get a snack, I've been a fan for at least 2 years. You know? I like these two games I feel like are really good and not talked about enough. Because Get a Snack is one of my favorite Roblox games ever. It's been around since before Doors, as evidenced by the fact that this is the remaster, Get a Snack at 4 a.m. Snack Core, whereas the original is just Get a Snack at 4 a.m. But I feel like people don't talk about Get a Snack as much as they should. That's why it's going to be the next essay for the home stretch, because it's a very nostalgic game for me. And it was one of the first things that kind of proved Roblox as an engine rather than just a kid's game.
I've likely put a few hundred hours into
Playing Surf?
but I'm not here
Yeah, I've been playing Surf for a really long time.
fantastic, and some I've likely put a few hundred hours into. But I'm not here to talk about
That pacing was a little strange. Sorry to keep pausing, but it's just I'm trying to give criticism to myself in the past on what I've learned in these last 4 years of making videos. So
those games. Right now, I'm here to talk about one game. One game that has stood above the rest.
that is where where it kind of puts itself up front. The issues with the mic is when it peaks like that,
Now,
and it peaks
I'm here to talk about one
semi-frequently.
game. One game that has stood above the rest. One game that has arguably some of the most effort put into a game I've ever seen on Roblox. Especially with a team of... What? What did you say? Do I actually have the right script? Especially...
Okay, so I appreciate the effort, but this joke would have landed so much better if I'd known how to deliver it naturally. I did not deliver it naturally there. It is so far from natural, and it's just I feel so bad because that's probably something I would do now, but I would do it so much better because I just know how to deliver the line naturally.
What? What did you say?
Instead of saying, what did you say? Instead, I would go, what? Sorry, what'd you say? Do I have the right script? It's something like that. Instead of just, what did you say?
Do I actually have the right script? Especially with a team of 2 main devs. That is not an exaggeration. 2 main devs doing the coding, modeling, composition, set dressing, bug squashing, merch, designing, drawing, animation, and writing, all under the pretense of only getting paid through Roblox avatar items, revives purchased, and all of the Screech plushies.
I don't think that segment was terrible. I think it was serviceable. But it could be better,
The bar for Roblox horror has been insanely raised. But honestly, that might not really be a difficult task. Still,
I like that joke still. I still like it. Apologies.
the amount of work that, again, 2 devs have been putting into this entire package is not a single thing to sneeze at. Now, technically, I have been telling a tiny white lie. There have been 2 others who have assisted.
Okay, here's something I want to talk about, because it's something that I think goes unnoticed because it's a very subtle change in a lot of writing for things. So you heard me say have twice in quick succession there.
Technically, I have been telling a tiny white lie. There have been 2 others who have...
Don't do that. Don't do that because it sounds unnatural. Instead of saying there have been 2 other devs, say 2 other devs have worked on this. Or just a different variation of that. Because if you repeat words, it sounds unnatural. It really does. Because that's just not the way most people talk. It's there's a flow, a conversational flow that goes into every essay. Well, every video essay. Most video essays that people make have a conversational flow, like they're talking to themselves or explaining something to you without having to check if you're still there, So it's just a conversational thing, and it's very important to remember when writing for an essay.
who've assisted with Doors development, those being Ghostly Wowzers and Jasper Creations. Wowzer's involvement with Door's development is being a 2D spriter, responsible for making Ambush, Jack, Rush, and an unknown fourth entity who seems to appear in the grandfather clocks.
So, I find this really funny. 2 years apart. It took them 2 years to add, what's his name? Haste, I think? I think his name is Haste, the one where you... the one where you wait in front of the clocks. And they teased that 2 years ago. This is not really a criticism of my video, it's just insane.
No clue why, probably a teaser for Chapter 2, but nevertheless, Wowzers himself confirmed it is a separate entity to Rush. Moving swiftly onto Jasper, it seems they've just been brought on with the new Hotel Plus update.
If I had known what easing is, that would have looked so much cleaner. Because, like, Premiere has this built-in, like, easing thing. And, it's not perfect because it doesn't have, like, the graph editor in After Effects. But it is definitely serviceable and can make tweens look so much nicer. It doesn't look like a robot's doing it. That's the whole point of tweens, is that it looks natural instead of robotic.
Being the one to reanimate Seek and Figure during their intro cutscene.
I don't think this is terrible. This red line, it looks a little odd, but that's only because it's literally an image of a red line that is just stretching. So it's a clever way to work around it. Instead of just, having it be different images. It's the same image, but I think I could have made it look a little better.
And we'll get to them later. Jasper doesn't have much other to do with Doors, but they have worked as the head dev for Untitled Tag Game, and as co-developer in Nico's Nextbots, a game with a fantastically easy to abuse B-hop system. Silly Gmod PNGs. Doors was released.
This is back when Xbox were like the big thing, I think. Maybe? It was early 2023. Wow, this video turns 2 years old in like a week. At least when I'm recording this. Wow.
Only 6 months ago at the time of writing this, on August 10th, 2022, it was released to an explosion of popularity.
Not a terrible edit.
Everyone got in on the game. Big names like DanTDM and 8-Bit Ryan, too many Twitch streamers to even list, and even my friend Dags made a video on it only about a month ago. And
at this point, I was like acquaintances with Dags. Calling us friends now might be a little bit of a stretch. I might have to reach out to him and start becoming friends again. But at this point, I was friends with him. I would be comfortable saying that I was friends with him. And I kind of do want to catch up with him. Because we used to be really close friends in like 2021, 2022. So way before he got big. And I just want to catch up with him and see how he's been doing.
Lodged it in with 2 other awful to semi-okay Roblox horror games. Back to Doors, it was a smash hit in Roblox, and it even got to the front page, where it has remained there.
Sorry. I just think that's impressive. I really do think it's impressive how Doors stayed on the front page.
Ever since it blew up, it hasn't really stopped sitting on the front page. If that's not a testament to how cool this game is, I don't know what would be. Doors gameplay loop seems simple at first, just go through doors to 100. However, sprinkled through the hotel are enemies that will try to kill you. Only 4 entities will not attempt your murder, and 3 of them were just released with Hotel Plus.
Stammer. Right? Stammering. It is not good. It makes you seem, it makes you seem like you don't know what you're talking about, and considering the fact that this is literally pre-written and I'm speaking more fluently than in this video, I think that's kind of insane. So, you don't want to stammer. Stammering is not something that you want to do.
We'll approach them in due time, but needless to say, this isn't just a walking simulator. I would understand if you thought so, however, due to how pretty this game is. Even on release day, it looked gorgeous, and you'd be understood if you thought it was just graphics. like the whole thing was just about how pretty it was. Thankfully, that's not the case. Meandering through the various rooms, you can find...
Wait, hold on.
Thankfully, that's not...
Oh, wait. It did? Yep. Okay. So this is something that I actively attempt to avoid in editing. So basically what happens is this text right here, the video source text, is not... It ends a single frame before the video. That is a very subtle but noticeable thing. It's subtle, but it just makes it feel like it's just a little bit off. And I hate that. I hate when the text does not end at the same time.
Not the case. Meandering through the various rooms, you can find stuff like money, flashlights, lockpicks, lighters, keys, and other various items that can help you through your journey to door 100.
Music is a little loud. It could be turned down a smidgen, but it is definitely not unbearable.
Start off with the entity talk. Let's bring on one of the most common entities you'll experience throughout every run. Rush is a smoke cloud with a face inside of it and is dumb as a rock.
Okay. I appreciate the effort. That was not written well. I appreciate what you're trying to say, but man, you did not. That's just written poorly. That's not even delivered poorly.
To start his attack off, when a room spawns, you may see the lights flicker. Afterwards, you'll have around 10 seconds max to hide in a closet, to which he shows his slimy little face for a bit before opening the door for you and leaving.
Another stammer.
Before he puts out every light in the room, though, cause why not? Now, I'm so harsh of Rush just due to how easy he is. The only challenge comes from your freaking friends stealing the closet right next to you with nowhere to hide yourself.
So that was kind of written oddly. But I think the point gets across. So,
thank you, Sarah Rath. You truly heightened my experience. Now, granted, Rush was never intended to be difficult. Being one of the first entities you even see, you'll need to figure out what to do quickly, and so, with your only options being to hide, you do so, with success.
Okay, I'm sorry to be pausing. I've been recording for 18 minutes, and we are 4 minutes to this video. But basically, what happened there was, like my pet peeve with that clip was how I said what to do. I remember thinking when I recorded that line that it sounded like very fast and very like, oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about. No, it's just not easily like interpretable, if that makes sense. By saying what to do, it sounds like you're saying what it do instead of what to do. So, you know, making sure that people understand you're saying what to do is kind of important.
It's good game design, but after you know what to do, every run afterwards with Rush just becomes an annoyance. A loud one.
I like that
Ambush
joke.
is a variant of Rush that's able to spawn at any time he pleases, with no indication he's there other than his ear.
Okay, before, I didn't stop there. I was waiting for myself to stop, but it just kind of...
A loud one.
I just kind of didn't stop. But I wanted to point out that I have been doing emphasis editing for years now, and this is the proof. Because right here, I'll walk you through it.
Ambush is a variant.
Ambush shows up when I say his name. Background footage shows up when I hit another word with emphasis. So, ambush is a variant. On variant, the background footage shows up. And later in the sentence, he blurs away.
Variant of Rush that's able to spawn at any time he pleases, with no indication he's there other than his ear-piercingly loud approach noise that can be heard from about 8 rooms away.
I do like that joke. I still like it, of just having the sound get louder. But it goes on a little too long.
Similarly to Rush, you'll have about 10 seconds max to hide in a closet. However, instead of simply leaving after passing you, Ambush wraps around your room, sometimes even up to 6 times, before he leaves the way he came.
That's happened to me before. Getting him to go around 6 times. It was absurd.
Your room.
Also, watch this clip.
Sometimes even up to 6 times, before he leaves the way he came. Intertwined with this mechanic is...
Ooh. I got in the closet.
The next entity. Hide is an entity that you never truly see, but you do see his effects. If you're to stay in a closet for an extended period of time, Hyde will start telling you to get the heck out of his closet, before eventually kicking you out, taking some health away. The way he's in—
And the duo, by the way, the duo there of Ambush and Hyde was so deadly back then.
intertwined with Ambush is that you can't stay inside the closet the whole time. If Ambush shows his face, you'll have to leave and re-enter your closet for every time he loops. Now, Hyde really only benefits Ambush, and to an extent Rush, if you're to get in the closet too early. Some floors he doesn't even show up at all, and you'll see why in due time. For now though, let's move on to the most annoying, divisive—
Okay, so another instance of emphasis editing, but this isn't quite as good as before.
in due time. For now though, let's move on to the most—
As I say annoying, right? On N, which is the first syllable of annoying, it stretches up. And then when I hit noi, it stretches further up. That up stretch is there for that, like, yeah, okay. So this first stretch is here for 1, 2, 3 frames. That's not enough to get the point across, because it's just like a very quick blip in the span of 30 FPS. So
most annoying, divisive—
also just doesn't look that good.
Love to hate in fandom entities. Screech is a little ball of black tar and a mouth that bites you if you don't give it attention.
So here's a little bit of developers' commentary about that joke. Originally, I was going to say black tar heroin. And then I thought about it and I was like, I don't know if I should say that. So I just cut out the heroin and made a black tar. But you're going to notice a trend of me doing this thing with the characters where it's just like oversimplifying what they are and trying to be funny about what they are. It doesn't hit most of the time, unfortunately. But A for effort.
How Screech works is if you're in a dark room without a light source, Screech has the likely chance to spawn and almost yell at you before actually yelling at you. His sound cue is a weirdly loud whisper. Psst.
Okay. That edit, fine enough. You know, it goes a little too high. I didn't want it to cross over the UI for some reason, so I just kind of made it pop up from below and then be above the HUD, which is kind of weird. It's fine to have it over the HUD, but whatever.
At which point you need to bolt your mouse around to attempt finding Screech, and in return, a direct gaze sends him to Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay, I just want to... This is such a nothing rant, and it goes on for way too long, and I don't like this. I do not like this bit.
To attempt finding Screech, and in return, a direct gaze sends him to Salt Lake City, Utah, where he's forced to live out his days as a Mexican cartel member guard, scaring off all the other gangs due to fear of the little devil that the other gang has summoned.
There was there was no point to saying that. Why did you say that?
None of that is true, he just leaves after yelling at you. Now, to directly contrast this ball of vocal cords, we have Eyes as an entity who has a random chance of spawning every time you open a door, making a sound cue indicating you have a very limited time window to look away from him and keep your eyes off him. Sorry.
That would be a bit that I would do now. I would do that now. Probably including the sorry. But it would just be, again, delivered a little bit better.
He emits a purple light into the room, giving you a good sense of where not to look while traversing. He technically has his own song, though it's more of an ambience included with him spawning. Here, take a listen. Sounds like Jack Stober fell asleep on his keyboard.
I have been a Jack Stober fan for so long. I have been a Jack Stober fan for maybe 3 or 4 years, and I would like everyone to thank Michael Robinson, the thumbnail artist, for getting me into Jack Stober, because he is like so good.
Actually, speaking of Jack Jack is a kinda rare entity that can appear when attempting to enter a closet. He's not super ultra mega difficult to find, being a 1 in 20 chance you find him in the closet. However, to get him in a door, you need to beat the game 200 times. That's right, jackdoors exist, but only with a 1 in 2,000 chance.
Yeah, at the time there was no footage of this. It was just documented on the wiki. However, in that time, they've either, increased the chance of him spawning, or I just got really lucky because I think in the past 8 months I've gotten 2 jackdoors, and I don't even play doors that much. So, kind of insane.
During Jack's intervention, he either spooks you out of entering a closet, or scares you as a door opens and the room turns dark red for a few seconds, and then it returns to normal.
I appreciate the honesty of being too lazy to get the footage. But it's footage. Come on.
Hey, speaking of stupid chances, Shadow, unlike Jack, has a very, very low chance of spawning, and is super ultra mega difficult to find.
You hear that stutter? You hear me start to say rare, and then I switch gears into difficult, completely different starting syllable? Bad. Don't do that. Because it makes you seem, again, like you don't know what you're talking about.
However, Shadow doesn't do much. All he does is just show up for a bit if you happen to be looking in the middle of the room. He has a 1 in 2,000 chance,
I'm sorry to keep pausing for pronunciation, but that one makes me so mad. Because it's so unnatural. I'm just saying, he has a 1 in 2,000 chance. That's not natural. Say he has a 1 in 2,000 chance. Or something that just sounds a little bit better. It makes me mad.
similar to Jack's door. And yeah, I know he's just as common as a jackdaw, but the difference is that Jack can still appear much easier than Shadow can. Meaning technically Shadow is the rarest entity. Honestly, Shadow is pretty boring though. Let's talk about one of the smallest entities in the hotel. Timothy is a small little green-eyed spider who makes his presence known randomly throughout any drawers you may open. He has about a 1 in 200 chance of spawning whenever you open a drawer, and if he does, he makes a horror movie stinger noise as well as jumping on
I'm gonna stop pausing for
Thankfully,
pronunciation.
all the arachnophobes only deal with him for a sec, as after a little under 2 seconds, he slides off your screen, leaving you 5 health down. Now finally, we can move on to the big boy entities, the ones who only show up twice every run, and the most difficult entities facing you in this hotel. Seek is an involved bendy ink searcher. Not really, he's just very inky and sticky. Around door 20-ish, Seek makes his presence known by flickering the lights and sticking little eyes onto the walls, with those same eyes popping up on your screen and infesting the paintings. Also, apparently we play as the Simon Cowell of art and call Seek's spooky landscape not a painting. Rude. Anyways, around door 28 to 35, along...
I still like this bit.
Back to find Seek, climbing out of his shiny, inky abyss and full-on sprinting towards you at his fastest speed.
I also just want to mention that, it sounds like I recorded a full line there, which was the intent. And I'm kind of surprised that I pulled that off so well.
And your camera pans back to...
It sounds pretty natural to me just saying "and" really short like that.
Towards you as the power then returns, causing an electrical fire to start and making Figure panic cartoonishly only to accidentally jump out of a window. One little elevator power.
That's a pet peeve, is that I didn't show it. I didn't show him falling out of a window, and if I'm making a big deal about how funny it is, why would I not show it? Just
Puzzle
weird.
later, and banging and roaring is heard from the door behind us. It seems Figure has made it back up, ready to tear us apart. After a quick sprint upstairs and into the elevator, we end the first floor of Doors with a cutscene teasing Chapter 2 to be underground mines.
My head was missing.
And that caps off this part of Doors. Of course, more chapters will hopefully be released later on, but for now, this is plenty to satisfy. I don't know about you, but I consider this game to be phenomenal. While I was writing the script, I forgot that the game was Roblox up until right at this moment. and I hope that's a testament to how amazingly well this game was made.
I actually did.
Of course, I'm
I
not going to
forgot that I
spoil
did that.
everything about this game. There are still other things and secrets you'll be able to find that I haven't talked about, and I implore you to go find them yourself. There's also...
That's why I intentionally didn't mention Rooms. Rooms was put... I'm pretty sure Rooms was, like, put in the game during the Hotel Plus update. But I intentionally did not mention it because I wanted people's reactions to be genuine. That's the thing that you have to do when you're talking about a roguelike horror game like this. Secrets and some entities need to be omitted so that people can have genuine reactions.
Also a good reason that I'm not spoiling everything, and it's because I don't want to strip away all enjoyment you'll get from this game. Having told you how to handle every entity, that just removes all the fun. So I've omitted some information in the hopes that you go out and find it yourself. This game is phenomenal, and I highly suggest that you play it yourself. Watching a video on it is really not the true experience. Thank you for watching, and peace out.
This is before I had a outro. It's quaint. It's quaint. It's serviceable. It's not bad. However, I think the constant visual feed that you get from looking at the outro now, I think that helps a lot more, because sometimes, depending on the length of the outro meme, the annotations just don't show up. So always having this moving background and moving text, I think helps with keeping the viewer's attention. Anyways, that is Doors, a 5-star hotel. First video of 3 that I want to talk about. I've been recording for 41 minutes. I think that's kind of insane. I just realized I'm probably not going to have much to say about this video. So, overall, what I remember from watching it maybe a few nights ago, it's not terrible. It's watchable. There's some funny moments, Family Guy funny moments, but I wouldn't say it's quite as enjoyable as my my gaming videos now. Now, oh boy, now it's time for the heavy hitter. This is my first essay ever. I remember being so proud of this. I remember just being over the moon about getting to make this video. Let's see how much I have to say about 8 minutes.
Today, we are talking about one of my favorite childhood games, And Yet It Moves, or as I'll be calling it, a YIM.
Not a terrible edit, actually. That's not absolutely awful. I mean, I don't have the background yet. It's good to have a moving background, but...
It's a game where you're this little paper dude and you go throughout levels rotating gravity to do puzzles. I feel like...
Wow, okay. Great pause, but so far, this is not terrible. This is not, absolutely awful. My delivery, it's serviceable. My quality is fine.
Where you're this little paper dude and you go throughout...
There is the hiss. There's the hiss, but that's not something I usually, get pressed over.
Levels rotating gravity to do puzzles.
So I paused at a very opportune time where I mentioned how the mic quality was serviceable. This goes down to terrible.
I feel like this game should have gotten way more attention.
It was pretty loud. I mean, with that pause, it made it seem like it was just going to be constantly peaking. But you know what? It definitely peaked, but it wasn't consistent. At the very least. It was listenable half the time.
This game is criminally underrated and definitely worth the $10 on Steam.
Man, my voice has just changed in the past couple years. My voice is just, wow. It's just impressive how much it's changed, honestly.
Just everything about it, from the art design
we fit
to
again.
the music to the gameplay, is all just phenomenal. A YIM was originally made by...
There's a pacing. I have a thing with my old videos about pacing, where I don't know what a good time for a pause between lines is, So I just have like, I have it either be a little too short or a little too long, and it always irks me.
Back in 2007 as a computer science project.
Oh boy,
No.
Master of Tweens
The
here.
game was originally made back in 2007.
You know what? At the very least, the bouncing wasn't terrible. And I did this all in Premiere. I didn't start using After Effects until maybe a couple months ago. But you know what? The bounce isn't terrible. It's this tiny little arc that just irks me. It doesn't look good.
As a computer science project for the Vienna University of
That looks
Technology
fine.
in, well, Vienna. Specifically, it was a bachelor's project spearheaded by the 4 designers of the game: Christoph Binder, Felix Bohacht.
Wow. Pronunciation master over here. Bohasht. Wow. Let me look up this guy's name, actually. Alexander Bohasht.
Headed by the 4 designers of the game: Christoph Binder, Felix Bohacht.
Felix, not Alex. Felix Bohasht. It's okay. Bohach. It's Bohach. Man, I was great at pronouncing.
Probably butchered that. Sorry. Jan
At least I acknowledge it.
Peter Vorlofer, with Jan also being an artist, and Peter being a programmer, and Christoph being the game's composer. The 4 wanted to make a 2D.
He did a phenomenal job, by the way. I'm definitely gonna revamp this video for Homestretch, but like, oh my goodness gracious, the Indiana Moves OST is unparalleled.
Platformer with more freedom than most, so they decided on being able to rotate the world around you to solve puzzles. Using the Torque engine, the first prototype was made in about a year and a half. On screen is some footage of the
Another
prototype.
pacing thing. See, here's the funny thing. I'm showing this footage for way too long, but here's the funny thing about this. I had I had started making this video, and I was not planning for it to be 8 minutes, almost 9. I was actually planning for it to be like 6 or 7 minutes, but I found this on a whim while researching for the video, like footage of the prototype, and I just didn't know that there was a prototype. I didn't know that there was a prototype that had public footage, and it was such an interesting experience just seeing that. Again, showing this footage way too long, I could cut it to when it moves
You may
again.
have noticed this, but there is different sound effects for a lot of things here. Walking, ambient noises, even the title music is a primitive version of the current version. Of course, this should
Again, the thing I mentioned earlier, the repeating words. That just bugs me.
all be pretty obvious, as it's a prototype and stuff is bound to be changed and made better. Though I would like to mention, I find the magnet snapping effect for rotation really cool, and I think that they should have left it as like an option to toggle or an Easter egg of some sort.
Okay, I was about to say, if I was about to suggest that they totally replace the rotation system in the original Indiana Moves, I think that's far. I think that's a little bit too far. I do like the magnet snapping. Sorry, that was my mic, like my boom arm, but I do like the magnet snapping, but I wouldn't have it over the original like rotation in Indiana Moves. Again, having it be an option or an Easter egg, like oh, what was that one game that had like letterboxing as an Easter egg? Was it The Evil Within 2, I think? Where it was like the original game, the first game was just totally letterboxed, including the gameplay. And the second game had it as like a new game plus thing. I think it should have been something like that. It would have been very cool. But I digress.
I think that would have been awesome. Back to the topic at hand, after showing the prototype to various independent game festivals, it won the Student Showcase category at Independent Game Festival, and was a nominee for the 2007 Europrix Top Talent Award. After some interest was given to the project,
What did I just say?
the 2007 Europrix Top
The 2007 Europrix. Did I just... There's no way I was mispronouncing Europe there. There's no way. There's no way I said Europry. Right? No shot. Did I really?
Category at Independent Game Festival and was a nominee for the 2007 Europrix Top Talent Award.
I would have to look into this to see the original name. But if I'm actually mispronouncing Europe there, that would be absurdly funny.
After some interest was given to the project, the students decided to make it a full game, which took about 2 years. During that time,
That delivery was just kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie.
the company Broken Games was formed due to it being easier to manage some of the more business-centered aspects of game development, such as marketing, financial management, etc. At last,
I will say it's kind of funny that this video has like more formal research done for some of my essays now. I think that's pretty funny because now I mostly base it off of memory because, say, the hit single video, right? This is something I always tell my friends, or like anyone new that has met me. The hit single video, 32 minutes, right? A decent length, a pretty good length, in all honesty. This video is 5,667 words long. This video also was written in 1 day. This video also was written entirely off of memory, aside from a little bit of fact-checking from my friend Sam, who has now appeared in a few videos. I think that if anything was to prove that I have autism, it would be that. Regardless.
the game was originally released back in 2009 for PCs and in 2011, the Wii. It released to positive reviews and overall good reception. However, these two versions are not.
Okay, I don't know if anyone else is picking up on this. There is no cutting. There is no cutting between the lines. It is literally just the raw file. And that is something that I immediately fixed with the next video. Or the next essay, I guess, which I think was the Doors one. Let's check. Yes, it was. So, yeah. There's no cutting there. There's just no cutting between the lines, which is bad because people will hear your breaths. And it makes it so much more stressful for, like, recording. It makes it like I have to do the pacing in the recording. That's actually something that my friend Tyson was talking to me about. Lil T. I don't know if anyone's seen him before. He made a few iceberg videos. But I was talking to him about it, and I was like, oh, no, yeah, I don't care about dead space in the actual Audacity file. But when I'm in editing, I cut it together to have the pacing that I want. And he was like, that sounds a lot simpler than what I do, which is recording with the pace. So I'm glad to, even after so much longer of him making, honestly, better videos, I taught him something. So that's fun.
Not one and the same. So we're going to go over the differences now.
Okay, so I will mention here's a criticism. Why did the music fade out? Why? You could have had the original music fade out and then another one fade in as the other one is fading out. And that's called a crossfade. But just having it fade out, kind of weird. And why is PCs in blue? Why couldn't you have had it both be white? Did you feel the need to? Because also, I just realized this text is so off-center, but why do you feel the need to have PCs be blue? All the other text besides verses is white. And you know, version differences, that's white. Wii, that's white. This is red. Obviously, it's fine being red. Why is this blue? It's just an interesting pet peeve.
I personally think WiiWare was a better version because of the analog rotation you get with the nunchuck and Wiimote. Plus, the nunchuck plus Wiimote combo, to rotate the world, you have to turn the Wiimote like a key in a keyhole, and that's a gimmick that I just love.
Man, Peak City. Not much has changed, actually. There are some parts where like I peak my mic really bad during recording. But yeah, it just sounds a little more bearable now.
But we do have a lot of other control options, like a standalone Wiimote on its side, or like a TV remote, a classic controller, even a Wii wheel. I personally like to stick with the nunchuck and Wiimote, but you can choose whichever one you like best when you play. For the PC version, I don't know, man. You can obviously change the keybinds, but it defaults to arrow keys, which is good for moving with WASD and turning with arrows. But they default jumping to W, not space for some reason. Also, the number of degrees that one arrow key push rotates is changeable, but I've currently found no way to change it, which might make it not changeable.
Okay, honestly, that's funny. I still obviously I still laugh at that because I just did, but like, that's funny. It's just like, I haven't found a way to change it, so it might not be changeable. I still find that funny, you know?
I feel like the WiiWare version is better overall, which kind of stinks because the Wii Shop channel was shut down back in 2019. Honestly, I really do wish I could only use Wii footage. However, all the footage would be low quality and it would be a total hassle to set up just to put away afterwards, and the fact that I can just decide when to record it when I want to do without it having to be a big hassle.
Wow, you are just saying words right now, man. You are just like, where is this sentence going? Where are you headed with this sentence?
I will be using footage of the PC version. Now that we've talked about...
He reached a resolve. He reached the end of the sentence. Everyone clap. Everyone clap for Elijah.
Version differences, let's move on to something consistent throughout all the versions, the art style.
Wow, that text. Oh man, that jump scared me. I haven't even mentioned that I've been doing the blurs since my first essay, but like, wow, that text. Oh man, the OCDers are gonna love this one.
This game's art makes me swoon.
Wow, I like what I said there. I like how I said it. The peaking mic, man. Come on. It's so glaringly obvious, and I was just oblivious to it. Because I remember editing like the Doors video where there was peaking there, and I just ignored it. I didn't even like turn it down or anything. I just ignored it. Because that's what I was used to, but it's just really funny to me.
The entirely paper aesthetic to all the different colors, it's all just great. I like how the levels end by you going into a piece of paper and completely filling it, no cracks left behind. It's really satisfying.
Why did you say it like that? That's just kind of weird.
I think the best way to describe Chapter 3's art style, though, is if Dr. Seuss got high and drew a rhyme book with no words.
I was gonna try to not laugh at that, but like, it's so quaint. It's like, it's. I'm trying so hard to like be likable and be funny, to the point that like it's not overbearing, but it's just kind of like, you go, man, you go, you try your best. I believe in you.
Chapter 3 starts off with you getting bitten by a snake, which inevitably poisons you. I think that snake's poison involves LSD or something, because I don't know of any snakes who make you hallucinate with a bite.
There actually are some snakes that make you hallucinate with a bite, I'm pretty sure, but like, I'm kind of on top of my drug references. I have been on top of my drug references for 3 years, because just like, LSD, that's a hallucinogen. That, I emphasized that wrong. That's a hallucinogen. Like, that is a hallucinatory drug. So, I was kind of on top of my references there.
Directly after being bitten, some weird stuff starts going on. You start seeing stuff move that shouldn't be.
Show it. Show the weird stuff that happens. It's not that hard. Show what happens. Just show it. It's simple. Just show it. I think I just pressed face twice.
Trees start having faces, and their branches become arms that rotate with gravity. Just overall high behavior. And that's one of my favorite aspects of the game. It seems to seriously subvert expectations by surprisingly swinging in some aspects you never expect.
Don't say bars.
Bars.
You said bars. Okay. Oh, man. This is before I realized I was too white to be saying bars. Oh, man. Oh, boy. And I even, like, intentionally got further away from the mic to make it sound like I was, like, whispering it from far away. And it's like, you're too white for that, man. All you did was alliterate and then have some words that had S's in them. That's not bars.
The hand-drawn aspect of the art makes it really feel like an indie game, you know? And that sort of scrapbook image collage...
I'm sorry. It's just really funny. It's just really funny to me. Just like, really makes it feel like an indie game, you know? And like, what is the feel of an indie game? What makes Indiana Moves exceptionally good at feeling like an indie game? I'm totally right, by the way. This definitely has like huge indie game vibes, but it's just funny because of like, what are the vibes that make it indie game vibes?
feel it has is just absolutely fantastablasmic. Yes.
Man, that stutter, that would have been a fine enough joke, but that stutter, that like hesitation there, just made it so much worse.
I made a new word just to describe the art style in this game. Now, of course...
Oh, man. Oh, that dug into my ears. That tiny little breath dug straight into my ears. Oh, man. Oh, that caught me off guard.
We can't have an art style without any game to play, so let's move on to the gameplay. The gameplay...
Honestly, the way that I introduced that wasn't worst.
...is genuinely so cool and so original, and I love it so incredibly much.
You sound drunk, man.
The rotation and the gravity and everything is just stellar. And the way they really take advantage of the mechanic they made in puzzles and during gameplay, it is all just fantastic. Like here, when you need to avoid the floor due to a fire hazard and being paper,
I just didn't show it. I remember writing this with the idea of like, show it. Show the footage. Put the footage on screen. I didn't show it. I even said, like here, and I'm just not showing it. Oh, man. Show it. Why am I allergic to showing what I talk about?
You're not exactly immune to fire. Quite the opposite, actually. Anyways, you have to rotate the world around you so you only land onto the not on fire floor. But
show what you're talking about. This is the bat puzzle. It's not the fire puzzle. The fire puzzle is in like chapter 4.
momentum could also...
I didn't mean to press space. The fire puzzle is in like chapter 4. This is like chapter 2. Maybe chapter 1. It's probably chapter 1.
Around you so you only land onto the not on fire floor. But momentum could also screw you over here, because if you fall too fast and hit the floor, you're gonna die.
I'm saying here as if I'm showing what's happening. It's just getting to me. I'm not showing it.
Mr. Paper even mentions so in the first few levels of the game. My survival mainly depends on how fast I am when I land.
I said it wrong, but the point still gets across, so whatever. But that pause was just kind of uncomfortable. I feel like that should have been shortened a little bit. A little odd.
Mr. Paper says during the second level. Also, not to mention the fact that there is literally an achievement where you need to solely rotate throughout the level and make it all the way to the end of the level and die at the paper. That's an achievement that only AM can have.
AM, don't do that. Don't call it AM. Just say Indiana Moves. Sorry. It's a simple name. You don't need to say the abbreviation.
Honestly, in terms of gameplay, I've genuinely seen nothing like this. Now, of course, there's probably a game similar to it, but I've yet to see one. On to another thing that's one of a kind,
Still have yet to see one, actually. The only one that comes close is a game that I played recently called Paperhead, but that is far more inspired by the like gameplay-wise. That is far more inspired by the likes of Doom and Ultrakill. And I mentioned Doom first because it's a little more Doom than Ultrakill. Like Ultrakill has the skulls, the colored skulls, right? Doom has like the key cards and the skull cards, or the skull keys, I think they're called. And Paperhead takes more from that, of using key cards, specifically. But it is also 100% inspired by Ultrakill because they literally got Gianni Matragrano. So, it's a side tangent. Paperhead is very good, though. The episode 0 is free on Steam, and I highly suggest it because it is difficult even for me who has a lot of time in Ultrakill.
This game's music. Oh my goodness gracious. I will never stop fawning over this game's music.
I'm turning myself down, and I sound good. I'm not peaking. I'm not peaking my mic. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why was I turning myself up so loud?
Genuinely, I cannot get enough of it. The beep boops, combined with the half beatbox, half random mouth noises, it all just gives me the serotonin I need for the day.
Like, I turned myself back up there, and I sound considerably worse. I remember editing in Premiere. It should never happen, by the way. This should not be how you edit. But, I remember editing in Premiere, and because in Premiere it sounds a little different than exported. It's just like music. It's going to sound a little different. But, I remember editing, and the audio, oh man, what's it called? The level meter on the right. It was, constantly red. And I remember having my music in the yellow. That's bad. You want to have your music at, halfway to maybe 3/4 of the green? And then you want to have your talking at the yellow. That's okay. That's how I edit. You may not necessarily need to edit like that, but that is how I mix my audio, and it has worked for me for a year now. So, but it's just I was constantly hitting the red. That's why I was peaking. Why was I comfortable with that? Why did I think that was good?
As mentioned before, the game's music was made by Christoph Binder, and man did he do a fantastic job with the score. The title screen song for this game? Legendary. I absolutely love all the music in this game.
Again, I just don't show it. I just don't play it. I did this in the Portal video recently, which I'm actually kind of proud of that video, and it did alright. But also, can you tell I'm a little bit of a Portal nerd with my tabs? But I do this in the Portal video, I mention the music, and I show it right here. Hold on.
Very melancholy. Self-esteem fund springs to mind.
I play it. So why don't I play it here? And obviously I know why. It's a 2-year difference, but it's just come on, show what you're talking about. You could have gotten the video to 10 minutes if you just showed what you talked about.
Whether it be ambient noises, actual background music, or even just sound effects, it is all absolutely stunning.
I will say, throughout this video, you can definitely tell I'm very excited to be talking about this, and that's something that I strive for in every essay. Because I make essays about what I'm excited to talk about. I make essays about what I like talking about. And I make essays about stuff that I could easily rant on about. So, having that consistent energy and excitement about talking about a topic, that is something that I strive for now. And I was just effortlessly getting it on my first essay. Because I was obsessed with this game at the time. And I still love it, absolutely. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to remake this that's the wrong thing. I'm gonna remake this for home stretch. But it's just interesting to know how easily I was getting that emphasis and energy in my voice.
You could be a fan of heavy metal, rock, pop punk. It doesn't matter. Everyone likes this game's music. And honestly,
Now that is a wild claim. That is speaking. I do I'm very strict on talking subjectively in my videos. This was just going whole hog on the idea of objectively, everyone likes this music. It's just the facts. No, it's not. Everyone's different. Everyone's gonna have different opinions on it,
how could you not? The noises used almost all come from Binder's own mouth, whether it be a whistling bird or a droplet of water hitting.
Again, I was gonna show this. I remember writing this and thinking, yeah, I'm gonna show all these sound effects and I'm gonna put them in editing and they're gonna be awesome. I just didn't. It's Upsaw. It's not here.
The floor, most every, at least ambient, sound was made by Binder. Now, of course,
Hello? What happened there?
most every, at least ambient, sound was
Stop.
made by Binder.
I just
Now, of
stopped.
course, for a few songs, instruments are used.
I can't even tell if, am I thinking or did I alt-tab or what's happening?
Like in the title screen or some chapter
No,
3
I
music.
alt-tabbed, okay.
But really, that's the only time an instrument is used, and I find that super interesting. It's something unique that I haven't seen before. This game genuinely needs to be more noticed and more played, because it's truthfully a shame that it never got big. In conclusion, I highly recommend this game to all who see this video. It's an absolute blast to play, it'll get your brain up and running, the puzzles aren't too difficult, and you get to have a black twin later on in the game. What's not to love?
I swear I showed that. Also, that's a decent joke. I think that's funny. Of you get to have a black twin later on, which you do. I'll put up footage right now, but I think that's a good joke. Why didn't I show it? I swear I remember editing this and showing it. I swear to you, I remember putting the footage there. Am I just stupid? Good song. I believe it's Match Setup from Wii Sports Resort. Let me check. Game setup screen, yes. Yeah. Just so much about this is so much about this just is so confusing to me, and I don't get it. There was so much stuff that I should have done. Sorry. There was so much stuff I should have done that I didn't do. Why didn't I do them? What was I thinking? Oh, man. Well, that's my public embarrassment session all wrapped up, because I covered the videos that I wanted to cover. And I spent way too much time on the Doors video, so... But, yeah. I'm very thankful that you watched this. This is one of my lazier videos, and I kind of hate admitting that, but I did get sick, so I have an excuse. You're going to get your essay in 2 weeks, don't worry. But, thank you for watching. I have been Beanie Boy, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.